Hello and welcome to episode 9 of FootieTalksPod. It's been a while and we are joined by the usual three. It's been a few months, I think, since we've all probably done one of these. So obviously Sam and James are here. Sam, you can't see. Again, still a few months later, issues with the camera, but not to worry. So the 2019-2020 Premier League season is finally over in August. It's very strange.
Its time.
Yeah, we got there eventually. I didn't think we would at first. In March, I didn't.
It's weird they delayed it for so long. It really confused me.
Yeah, I was like, just take a few months off. That's right, let everyone rest. But we are done. Liverpool won the league quite convincingly. And it was an interesting, very interesting season. COVID aside, I think it was
one of a kind.
Yeah, it was very Liverpool dominated.
I'm always going to remember it.
Norwich were poor, deservedly relegated, and I was quite pleased that like a relegation battle and Champions League battle went to the final day.
Yeah, it was proper exciting, wasn't it?
It always makes it more exciting. I had I think four or five different games up that day.
Yeah,
I had it. It was crazy. So yeah,
it was literally a case of in a McDonald's kitchen, and we had like 3 phones stacked at the back with like a City game on, the United game on, just watching what was going down. It's great.
I had a laptop, a phone, a TV, and I had a proper setup. So like, cause I was reporting on one game.
Yeah,
I think Everton Bournemouth I was reporting on. As an Arsenal fan, watching the Arsenal game, and then I had the Man United Leicester game on and the Chelsea Wolves game on as well. It was all crazy, but very fun. It was quite different to see it go to the final day a lot of the time.
Yeah,
it's a bit.
I also really liked like the teams that were in it. So like you looking at like Europe and that, and you had like Wolves still had a chance at something or whatever, and you had like Spurs gonna finally make it in like the last couple of weeks where they're gonna be able to resurrect something. Leicester United was just insane. Well, it was a bit of a rubbish match, but it was insane in terms of what could go down. Chelsea, of course, commiserations. Sorry, Chelsea fans, but we did get third, and it was one hell of like Champions League battle. But then when you look at relegation and that, and you've got like Villa almost going down, West Ham in the past few weeks like going absolute Super Saiyan and saving themselves with Mikel Antonio running the show.
Antonio saved West Ham, didn't he? Completely. Antonio and Souček, I think without them.
Yeah, that Souček was like, didn't he score like 2 or 3 in like the space of 2 or 3 games?
Yeah,
he hadn't scored before that at all.
Maro and Fellaini reincarnate. Just like David Moyes is 6'6" man. I don't know 6'6", but
completely. But it is over. It is Liverpool's champions, Man City, Man United, and Chelsea rounding off the top 4, and Norwich, Bournemouth, and who else got relegated?
Watford,
yes, of course. That Troy Deeney interview.
Such a memorable team.
The Troy Deeney interview after the Arsenal game was quality. It was brilliant. So, Wolves somehow, despite finishing 7th, I think finished 7th.
Yeah, 7th.
Yes.
Finishing 7th, missed out on European football, whereas Arsenal, who finished 8th, which we're not going to talk about in great detail, through winning the FA Cup, got Europa League. I feel sorry for Wolves.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like it was such a great season for them. Them and Leicester were really like they were stepping up, and people going, could Wolves make Champions League? Could they get Champions League? That'd be insane. You got these like Portuguese lot, you got the English lot that are like great. Nuno bringing everything together, and then it's been like obviously a good season, but 7th place and no Europe to show for it. It's quite sad in a way. But
where did they finish last season?
I'll find out.
It would have been 7th again, surely.
Yeah, because I think Arsenal finished 6th. Leicester
was 7th again.
It's a tricky one. So I was going to say have they had a worse season through not qualifying for Europe, but they finished in the same place? So
it's only 2 points higher this season, but in a way you feel like it was better. I don't know. I think it was maybe like because they had that opportunity at it, and you got to think, well, then they'll like kind of build on it next year and maybe go the extra mile when they weren't really like front runners, but when they were in the conversation massively, maybe they can push on, separate from the pack, hopefully next year.
They had a bit of a poor start, I think, didn't they? Were they bottom of the league right for the first couple of games?
As far as I know.
I think they had
it was a bad start.
If they started like won one of those games, maybe. But and
match week 5, they were 19th.
They still have a shot at Europe, which is to have 8 English teams potentially in Europe is crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
They need to beat Olympiacos, and then they need to go and win the Europa League
against the massive Man United.
I'd like to see it, I think. But if they don't win it, are they in a better position to challenge for European football next season? Without it,
I'd say so.
They have teams above them.
I think it suits them because Nuno plays with kind of one squad, as far as I know.
Squad, isn't it? Yeah. I think you can have 25, and he uses about 19 or so.
Something like that.
When he needs to.
But where he uses so few players, maybe with a lack of rest between now and next season, it's only like 3 weeks, isn't it? So it's like maybe then not having to play European games might actually help him. And if there is 7 other teams in Europe, then they've definitely got something over other people that they're fighting around in a way. And if you're having to play even 6 games less in a year than your competitors, you're always going to be off to a good start in a way. It's a bit of an advantage. But it's also like they've got such a good team, they have to build on that as well, because I think the worry is if they stay stagnant and you look at their transfer history, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think they will improve. But you've also got like Raul Jimenez is, I think, 29, turning 30 next year. Obviously, he's not going to go to like 5 goals. Obviously, it's still going to be great. But then you got Ruben Neves only getting better. João Moutinho is still knocking around, even though he's like 53. They're going to get better. And it's just, I don't know. I think that they really are someone to be going for that 4th or 3rd spot somehow.
Would Ruben Neves not want to move away? Does he not want to move to a slightly bigger club? Or
who
does he improve?
Or who does he? I'd say he improves both of your sides.
Yeah, but I think like Ruben Neves isn't necessarily a kind of battering tackler. He's very, very good on the ball. But I think if you put him in the midfield with Pogba and Bruno, they kind of don't have to be creative. Arsenal, I think that's a great shout. Whether he'd want to go to someone who finished below him.
This is the thing. He improves Arsenal in terms of personnel, but it's like, where does he fit in as well? Because it's like Jacques has completely turned a corner.
There's rumours of Guendouzi going now, aren't there? Are you not slotting now?
I saw someone saying 100 million for Coutinho to Barcelona for Guendouzi. Absolute ridiculous. And that was Barcelona paying about 100 million to Arsenal. And you're like, what?
I think he won't end up at Barcelona. He'll end up back with Emery.
Do you reckon? Villarreal?
Yeah, I think he might. I think he's a top talent. I think he could go to Barcelona or a Bayern or someone like that. But I think if we're holding up for like 40 million for him, which I've seen, it's just like.
How good does he get though? Like, is his potential? He's obviously not going to be.
I really rate him. I think it's a shame what's happened because I think he's still like 20, 21. He's still really young, and I think he can improve a lot, and he can be a staple in our midfield. When the likes of Xhaka have gone and Astorera is still young, but Arteta doesn't like his attitude, and I think you've got a new manager. You can't then ignore it and say, "Well, we're keeping him whether you like it or not."
Tell you what, send him to Spurs, have him and Jose with their like just awful, we're better than everyone else attitudes, and they could just start a Spurs revolution over there. I think I'd love to see that.
I don't know. I think Neves would improve Arsenal, but I think we might keep Ceballos, even if it's another loan. I'm not sure if Arteta would take Ceballos or Xhaka out for Neves.
Yeah.
And he's not that advanced playmaker type role that if we get
he's very
it would suit. So
deep lying diagonal balls.
I mean, we could drop deep. We could drop him deeper and stick him in a 3. I can't see it happening, and I can't see us affording him.
Yeah.
But it's a tricky one. I don't know. Do Wolves lose out on potential transfer targets now they're not in Europe, or are they safe with super agent Portuguese?
I think. Well, obviously they got Mendes helping him out and just buying every Portuguese player under the sun. But at the same time, I don't really look at Wolves and think they're going for players that will say no because they don't know Champions League. Like when I look at Wolves' transfer history, they've kind of gone for good players, but not anyone that kind of like in that Champions League echelon, especially in England, is interested in. Because I think if you maybe then said like an Italian team or a German team or a Spanish team in Champions League football that aren't one of the top super greats or Wolves, I think they're kind of on an equal balance because you got the English football, you got the money side of it.
I guess so.
So kind of an equal go at a player, I guess. But it would be kind of disappointing if players look at that project and don't see the potential there, because I think they've really got something insane going on.
Yeah.
And they're going to be, I think, Leicester right now are almost, I hate to say it, but I think they're kind of reaching their peak in how good they are as a club. It's only starting now. And I think it's quite interesting seeing those two teams come up to be these European kind of like almost teams at a similar time. And it'd be interesting to see which one goes further, which I think will be Wolves.
Yeah, I think Leicester are more at risk of losing players because you think, are these 33?
30, yeah, 32, 33, something like that.
So he's getting on. It's like you're not going to have him, or you're not going to have the Jamie Vardy we know for a lot longer.
Yeah.
Because he'll probably lose his pace at some point in the next 2 years.
You can see Wilfred and Didi leaving.
Indeed,
at any point.
Addison, Barnes, Chilwell. I think the loss of Pereira to injury was massive in them missing out on Champions League.
Did you see Schmeichel was linked to United?
Yeah, I saw that.
Worst transfer link this week. Absolutely
better
disgusting
than De
idea.
Gea. Better than De Gea. Awful.
He's not though. He's not.
De Gea since the restart, I think, has been one of the worst keepers in the league.
De Gea's been bad in form.
He's been shocking since the World Cup.
But when you look at it though, if you look at the save percentage in the Premier League this year, number one is Dean Henderson, a Man United player technically. Number two is David De Gea still. And I don't know if it's necessarily we hold him to such a high standard that when he performs like an average goalkeeper, he suddenly seems worse. Like when you look at David De Gea a couple of years ago, didn't he stop 17 goals or something silly like that for us?
I think when you look at De Gea from 3 years ago, before the World Cup, he was the best keeper in the world. Neuer had that injury. He wasn't really in the conversation. I think Oblak hadn't quite yet hit that. Talking that now. And I think De Gea was the best in the world, and he was linked to Madrid for years. And he was there, and I think something happened at that World Cup, and whether it was the Spanish camp and all that change.
Maybe. I think it also comes with a contract. I think he's on, could be wrong, but I think it's 375 grand a week. And you've got to think you're at one of the biggest clubs in the world. You're on 375 grand. You feel like you've been excellent for the past few years. I feel like you start getting a bit comfortable and you're not keeping pushing yourself, which I don't really see from his personality. But at the same time, he's grown frustrated over the past few years with the quality of the team. And you've seen it in interviews when he's like you can see him almost wanting to say, well, what am I meant to do when I've got Phil Jones and Marcus Rojo playing in front of me? I can't perform miracles. And I think it's this year when we've been on the up and he's kind of just grown tired of it, and it's just caught it all at the wrong time. If he was still having a bit of hope for the club, just as we're going back into the good times, hopefully, I think he'd have a much better time of it. But Schmeichel isn't the solution.
Would you keep that here as your number one next year?
Yes, maybe. Now that I think of it, I've obviously had a big thing about does Dean Henderson come in? Do we buy someone else? Which I don't think seems likely. I think it seems a bit stupid to do that right now. It's not a position we need to target. But I think no one else buys him, which is the issue. If it was my choice, Dean Henderson would be in the starting lineup, and David De Gea would be in Paris, living his best life on $500,000 a week. But we're not going to be able to offload him somewhere that has a load of money. I think everyone is kind of being a bit short for change right now. And if you put Dean Henderson in front of David De Gea, his stock only drops. It's like with your Mesut Ozil problem. If you have a player that's not quite doing it and he's on so much money, do you take him out for the better of the team? But in the long run, you can't get rid of him because everyone goes, well, he's not world class anymore. So why would I pay 300k, 250k, 200k for him?
Well, look what you've done with Sanchez. You've terminated his contract, and he's gone to Inter, and he's taken a $400,000 a week pay drop.
Yeah,
reportedly, we don't know, but yeah, I think we should follow suit with Ozil. We should just cancel his contract, pay him $4 million or whatever that loyalty.
That cost him for 5 minutes. 4 million.
There's got to be something there that we can pay him off. I think he's got 2 years on his contract. If we pay him off 5-6 million, I don't know. It's a tough one, but
yeah.
I mean, I'd rather lose out on. I think we signed for like 42 million or something. I'd rather lose out on that. We're not going to recoup that anyway. But I'd rather bin off 6 million or whatever. There must be a clause somewhere. And have him earn 350k a week for literally nothing.
Yeah. It's a luxury player that you need a good team around, and you don't have that right now, unfortunately.
Well, I think he's a luxury player in the sense that, like, when he's playing well, he is phenomenal. And I think back to last season against Leicester at the Emirates. It might have been 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he just the way he passed it around, he was just like, he didn't even have to run.
It's like watching Bruno Fernandes week in, week out. But just a one-off.
But it's like, he just glides, and he is so good when he's interested. But you've had 3 managers now who've not found the best out of him. So it's I don't know.
Is Arteta done with him? Is Arteta said like, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to use him" and all this? Or...
I think if you put a 31-year-old Mesut Ozil, I want to say 30. I don't know.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
When you drop him for a cup final against Chelsea, and you bring in 18-year-old Matt Smith, who hasn't played a minute of football for the first.
It's a statement, isn't it? It's a
statement. It's telling that we're done with him.
Great cup final, by the way. Great cup final. You deserved it fully, I think.
It was an interesting cup final.
It was a good cup final to watch as a neutral, because Chelsea were better team for the first 20 minutes and then just fell apart. It was hilarious.
I think I watched that first 10-15 minutes, and I was very nervous because I think just before their first goal, Xhaka lost it to Mount, and Mount just ran. It's like our midfield and defence just wasn't there, and Martinez made a good save, and then that Pulisic goal came in like inside 5 minutes, and I was like, oh god, it's taken 5 minutes already. But after that goal, we were a bit shaky, and then something clicked. I don't know what it was, but it was lovely to watch us perform well in a big game. Like, I know we did it against Man City in the semi-final and Liverpool in the league, but it's like Liverpool had won the league. It was a bit meaningless. Man City, yeah, we played well, but they're probably focusing more on the Champions League. It's like this was telling. We needed to win that game, and we almost gave up inside 5 minutes. And to turn it around, we got fortunate. I've spoken to a few Chelsea fans, some on the course, some friends from back home, but we deserve to win. I'm not going to come out and say Anthony Taylor gave us the win or whatever. We deserve to win, but Chelsea got very unlucky with injuries and decisions.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest, I didn't catch the game, but it was like seeing people in the dressing room afterwards is really interesting to me. Like Martinez is like crying, and seeing him on social media and that, and his Pikachu post on Instagram, Twitter about like whether it was a handball or not. I really like that from him. I think that's a fun, decent personality that you want as a goalkeeper. And then like seeing Lacazette, Saliba, Aubameyang kind of like they had a bit of banter about St Etienne and saying like this is where you win titles. No, it's an FA Cup, but hey ho.
You haven't won a trophy this season yet. I'm not going to say you haven't because you might win the Europa League, but you haven't won anything yet.
Yeah, but we beat Chelsea 3 times already. We wanted someone else to have a go at it, so you guys might be best.
But I agree. I think it's good to see that camaraderie. It looks like a positive dressing room, which we haven't seen for a long time.
And trust me, from another club who has had a very negative dressing room, it's really nice to see something positive. Like I feel like Arsenal and Manchester United, fortunes turning at the same time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Burnley, I don't know if you necessarily say the same.
50
I don't know if the situation is going on there, but what's happening, Sam?
James Tarkowski is
basically
a good defender, but I wouldn't pay him.
The 50 million price tags are just the owners trying to be smart and price people out of moves, because Dyche and the owners have had a let's say a long-standing, not hatred, but near enough, just between how the club's run, basically. So the owners don't really pump any money in, which means we're never in debt, and we've always got a little bit in the bank. But it just means on the pitch, we're always just same position and nothing more, really. And I think Dyche is realising, well, he can't really be there much longer if Burnley are going to stay with that model for another 5-10 years. So I think the 50 million price tags are probably the board just trying to say to Dyche, look, well, we're not going to let these players go. So if we're not going to bring any in, at least you've got these players with you next season.
What do you think?
Is he going to leave?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anywhere for him to go. I think Dyche, firstly, even if there were clubs for him to go to, Dyche is one of those managers where it's a bit like Chris Wilder. He wouldn't suit many of the clubs.
Yeah. Like the only one that I can think of right now is if he went to maybe Bournemouth, but then it's completely wrong style of squad. Yeah. But then again, maybe a Callum Wilson Josh King pace up front might actually do him all right. But
then that's a drop down in the league, and
who's going to take over that?
Improvement from 10th. Is there any way next season you end up higher up?
Burnley.
Yeah.
I doubt it, because we weren't going to sign many players anyway, and then now most clubs are struggling for cash, and the transfer market's just going to be non-existent really for smaller clubs, I think, this year. And then it depends if we lose Pope or Tarkowski, which, like I said, I think the board are trying to keep them. It looks like Onana's going to go to Chelsea instead of Pope. I don't see anyone really paying anything more than 25 for Tarkowski. So if we keep those two, we'll probably finish. I won't be surprised if it was another 10th place finish, to be honest, next season. So, yeah.
Anyway.
Stability, at least.
So, I don't think anyone could say that the bottom three who got relegated, we predicted. I think we didn't predict those three to go down necessarily.
I think everyone had Norwich. Everyone had Norwich, I think.
I had Norwich. I had Norwich to go down.
Yeah. The only reason no one said Watford was because a lot of people forgot they existed in the Premier League.
They did well last season. They did well. I think Watford, that it's because they changed their manager so many times.
Yeah.
When they got rid of, I can't remember his name, the guy who they had last, literally just after the return of football.
Oh, I know what you mean. He's really nice silver beard.
When they got rid of him, there was like 3 games left. It was pointless.
Oh, what they got rid of Pearson.
Yeah, Pearson.
For Arsenal and Man City.
Yeah, that's it. That was the most pointless thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, knowing you had to get like a point from Arsenal and Man City, it was going to be tough anyway. But I think I don't know.
Nigel Pearson as well. I saw some stat that was like, I think he did better than 8 other teams since he got the role. And one of those teams, of course, was like Leicester, which obviously they just fell apart. But the fact that Nigel Pearson did elevate them above so many other teams, and it was just they're in an awful position to begin with, it feels unfair. And it's like he's the perfect kind of manager for that level of club, I think. He could do something next year and you see him turning it around and going a decent 15th and above finish rather than another relegation fight, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got the Bournemouth job.
I think it's positive for Pearson personally, because he's sort of we are only in 10 minutes, so we have to join back.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I think he's brought the attention back to himself because he left Leicester quite under some interesting terms.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of he left under a bit of a cloud. There was a lot of trouble in that pre-season tour. He left. They brought Ranieri in, and they won the league. But then he had a bit of time off. He went to Belgium, came back.
What was that all about?
Well, basically he went to Belgium with like Leicester's sister side in Belgium. It's run by the same people. So I think coming back and doing what he did with Watford. I know eventually they got relegated, and technically he didn't get them relegated, but I think he could get another job in England, and I think if a Premier League job comes up early next season,
he's one of those that you put in for him.
He's in that conversation now with Allardyce and people like that. I think the Bournemouth job's an interesting one. Did you see the Ali McCoist and Jamie O'Hara thing on TalkSport?
Yes.
No, what did he say? What was that?
I think Jamie O'Hara said that the Bournemouth job's a bigger job than the Rangers job, and Gerrard should go to Bournemouth.
Oh no, that is.
I mean, it sparks an even bigger debate. I mean, obviously, saying something like that always is going to spark the debate of how big are Rangers and Celtic compared to English clubs. But especially with Bournemouth now in the Championship, I think if I was a manager, which just ain't going to happen, but I think I'd take the Rangers job.
But then Ali McCoist came on the next day and said the Rangers job's bigger than Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs, and Leeds. He said the only jobs in England bigger than Rangers in Scotland, Liverpool, Man City, Man United. He said every other job in the league, Rangers are bigger.
See, I don't agree with that either. I think both of them are just.
I'd say it's about as big a job as like the Leeds job. I'd agree with that, and I think it's probably, if you look outside maybe the top 8 right now, it's probably bigger or as big as any job. But I think it's around that kind of Leeds, Newcastle kind of level, maybe a bit above Newcastle.
It brings the conversation back to where would Rangers and Celtic finish if they played in England?
Well, I think Celtic would probably be pushing 9th, 8th. I genuinely think. I think Rangers you'd probably be looking at probably just trying to survive in a Prem, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. I don't think Celtic are so dominant in Scotland, they're never going to come and play in England.
No.
No, I don't think they'd want to either.
No.
I mean, imagine Scott Brown saying, "Oh yeah, it's all right, we'll go move down to England." Like, no chance for him.
It's also just not logistically viable. Celtic aren't going to go down to Southampton on Saturday, are they?
Yeah, but
You know what I mean?
you think it happens in Wales, doesn't it? I know it's near it, but you think.
But the argument with the Welsh system, and I know a lad who's a coach in the Welsh football system, is pretty much all of the teams in the Welsh league are semi-professional or amateur.
Mm.
So Cardiff and Swansea really couldn't be in the Welsh leagues because they're pro teams, and it's a semi-professional league. Whereas Rangers and Celtic, obviously pro teams, and the Scottish system, as maybe bad as you want to call it, is a pro system, so they can be there. Whereas I don't think Cardiff and Swansea can actually be in Wales.
So it would be interesting to see what would happen. I don't know, but I don't think it will. But it's just sparked an interesting conversation. But has Gerrard taken Rangers as far as they can go?
I'd say so.
I think as far as he can take them for his managerial level. I think obviously I haven't watched Rangers week in, week out. I can't say much about it, but Rangers above Celtic, they've got to be a good manager. They've got to be maybe a bit more experienced than Gerrard is. But then again, who knows? He could do it, he could not.
Is there a job in England that he would leave Rangers for? Because I think that Bournemouth job could be very attractive.
I know, because it's very hard to get out of that league now, and I don't know if Bournemouth will go straight back up.
I know the Championship's a lot harder, but you've got a Premier League squad there. And I know they've lost Ake, but they will have a lot of money, and they will get parachute payments.
Plus, say they go up and then they have an all right season and they do well for a couple of years. When Jurgen Klopp turns around and says he wants to leave Liverpool, then everyone wants Gerrard back anyways. If he can do something at Bournemouth, maybe it puts a bit of weight to it, but who knows? Who knows?
It's a way to get yourself on the English managerial ladder, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because I think that Bournemouth team are a better squad than what Fulham were when they came back up.
What is in the Fulham side that's just come up now? Or
the Fulham side that got relegated and then came back up.
Oh, right, yeah.
Man for man, Bournemouth have a better squad.
Yeah, I'd probably say so.
Yeah, I probably agree.
So it's like, I know it's all ifs and buts, but it's like, if they can keep hold of a few of those key players. So I can't see Jefferson Lerma staying kicking around the Championship.
No.
It's like,
we'll have a couple of people taken from them for definite.
I don't know. It's an interesting one. Are we excited about the league next season?
Yeah, I think so. I think like the teams coming up look a bit fun. Would have liked Brentford in there, but Benrahma and Watkins come up with someone else, so it should be good. Do we want to talk about it after a quick break?
And we are back. Still getting used to the technology. So our 40-minute Zoom session was cut short abruptly. So that's why we took a little break and we are back.
It's like Norwich's time in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I'm Fulham, so they're going to go straight back down.
Speaking of Fulham, I agree. I think they'll go straight back down next season. So Fulham, West Brom and Leeds, I can only see one of them staying up. I can genuinely only see Leeds staying up next season.
I don't know. I think West Brom have a good base. They probably need to recruit well.
Yeah.
They have a good base as a club. I think Fulham are one of those clubs, they always go down when they come up, sort of thing. Just a bit like Norwich, actually. You know, they're not in the league for long when they're in it. Whereas West Brom, I don't know, because they're in the league for so long, so they might have a bit of a spell as a yo-yo side, which most clubs do. Like Stoke. They might be League One, but I think West Brom, I can see them maybe staying up because there are still some poor teams in the Premier League. If West Ham don't sort themselves out, they could easily be in that conversation again.
Yeah. And I think West Brom have they've got some decent players. I think it is Bilic in charge of them, isn't it?
Yeah, decent manager.
I like Bilic. I do like it. I think when West Ham sacked him, that was very harsh.
Yeah. So as you say, they've got a decent base to build upon. I think they're going to be kind of I'm trying to think of the team that did come up this year. I think they might be, out of the three of them, they could be the Sheffield United, but on a lesser level.
I think that's Leeds. I think Leeds are going to do like 14th or so, maybe.
Maybe. I think. But,
I mean, if Leeds sign a striker, because Patrick Bamford's been around 3 or 4 different Premier League teams and didn't cut it. If they can sign
barely cutting it in Championship when you look at the amount of chances he had. He obviously did well, and that's why he was the starting striker, and he is a good striker. But the amount of chances he had, he should have been better.
If they can sign a proper Premier League striker, I think they can do quite well.
What happened to that French lad they signed? Augustine.
Oh, from Leipzig.
He was on loan. I didn't think they made it.
Yeah, I think it was a loan, and he either didn't work out, or was he injured for a bit, maybe?
Oh,
yeah, there was something. I don't know. I think if they could get a decent striker on loan, or they could get an experienced Premier League striker.
Yeah. Maybe they get someone like Wilson from Bournemouth.
Yeah.
I don't know how well he'd fit in that Bielsa system, but he's fast. I
think someone with experience could suit him quite well. I think it's so hard to predict. I mean, predicting next season because the transfer window goes until October.
Yeah.
So it's not like we could the season starts, transfers are done, and then we can say, right, they have a good squad. So I think it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
But we will talk about next season as and when it comes. I think it's an interesting, isn't it? Because it's like we've the Community Shield's end of August, 3 weeks or so away now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got 2 weeks off for the international break. Then we start up again. But I think all teams currently in Europe get a delayed start.
Yeah.
So it's all a bit mismatched. I don't know. But we will talk about this season properly. We've sort of spoken about the debrief. So I think we did this in March when the Premier League was halted and we did a team of the season. So I think it's only right that now the season's actually done, we look at this again.
Yeah.
I think it's only fair. So...
And a lot's gone on in the restart.
I've redone my one. I am currently trying to find what we did before.
I'm going off the top of the dome for this one. I've got a few players in mind.
Yeah.
You think it? Yeah. I've written it out just before we started. So I think natural place to start is in goal. So I think we start in goal.
Yep. It's an easy answer. We can't really. I don't know if we can even delay on this that long. It's Dean Henderson, isn't it?
Oh no.
I had Dean Henderson.
If one of you guys Allison, I swear.
No.
Nick Pope.
Yeah,
I had Pope.
Yeah, mine's Pope as well.
I changed my mind. And I went for Pope.
No.
It's definitely Pope. I mean, the fact a lot of the return helped him. Before he was good, but not really as prominent as people were noticing him. But yeah, after the return from the lockdown, he was definitely the best keeper for that little bit.
Yeah.
And that's just what sticks in my head the most. And I'm a Burnley fan, so it's Nick Pope.
Fair enough. We did have Henderson in last time.
I'm going to stick by it. I think Dean Henderson had a really good season for his first proper year in the Prem, and I think he had the best save percentage. He did a lot of work for that Sheffield United side in how good they were. If you put any lesser goalkeeper in, they finish maybe not too much worse, but a lot more goals conceded. Some of those wins goes to draw, some of those draws goes to losses. And I think the fact that Dean Henderson is even being spoken about as could he replace David De Gea? Yes, David De Gea's not had a great season. It shows how good a year he's had.
That's fair.
Personally, I think Nick Pope, maybe, like if he went to say like Chelsea or whatever, then yeah, he'd be a very good number one. But I don't know. I feel like I haven't seen as much talk about Nick Pope being a starting goalkeeper for a top side as I have maybe Dean Henderson.
Yeah, for the top Prem side, probably not. He's probably had more talk about the England number one spot. Because, well, both I would have Pope and Henderson battling for it anyway. I wouldn't have Pickford in there. But then also the fact he lost the Golden Glove on the last day to Alisson, who we all know is obviously top keeper. So that puts him just a bit further up as well, obviously in my opinion. But yeah, it would be one of those two. And I'd
now that you say about the England lot,
yeah, for the England.
I might actually agree with you on Pope then, because I have Pope starting for England. Yeah, do you know what? Nick Pope.
Yeah,
I've really bent to that. Actually, I'm okay with that. In a way.
So yeah, I had Nick Pope in goal. I think I kept my defence the same.
Right.
Which was
it
Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, and Robertson.
So yeah, Van Dijk's obviously in there.
Van Dijk's in there. Trent's in there. It was insane. Before lockdown. After lockdown, he's obviously very good. He had that fantastic free kick. But what a year he's had. I think he's definitely going to be the fullback of our generation, as it was Gary Neville, as it was Dani Alves. It's just a new breed of spectacular player.
Yeah.
And Virgil van Dijk is, I hate saying it, but he's just immense, isn't he? He may be the best centre-back in the Premier League era. I don't think he is, but there's conversations around it. Most of them peddled by Liverpool fans, but he is very, very good. Who did you have to part to him beforehand?
I had Soyuncu and I kept Soyuncu.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Soyuncu is an interesting one. He definitely fell off a little bit with the Leicester team as a whole after the restart. He had that red card. I want to say was that against Bournemouth? I think it was.
Yeah.
In 4-1, something like that. I mean, I'm trying to think of who else goes in there. Maybe does Gomez have a shout with Van Dijk? Maybe. Is it just because he has been very good, and I think a lot of people might go, as I definitely have done in the past, of he's next to Van Dijk. He's obviously going to be a good defender just because you got Van Dijk there, but Gomez, I think, has shown he's very, very good this year, and he could well have a shout at that maybe. But also Soyuncu, for before lockdown, he was class.
Yeah, I'd probably stick with Soyuncu.
Cool. And I think Andy Robertson as well.
Yeah, there's no one you can really.
Luke Shaw. No. Robbo.
Yeah.
So I've changed it up. I've decided to go for a 4-4-2 instead of a 4-3-3.
Okay.
Because I think there's three strikers I wanted to fit in, and the players I wanted to fit in worked more with a 4-4-2. So it's a very attacking 4-4-2.
Okay.
It might be
you done a Yaya tour, have you? See him on tour.
It might be a 4-2-4 if you want to play it like that. So in the midfield, I've gone, and I get this right, gone Mane on the left, Mane on the right, De Bruyne, Grealish, Aubameyang.
I'm sorry, but no. I'm so sorry. But A, on a tactical level, B, your players are wrong. I'm sorry, but no. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Yeah, I wouldn't have Aubameyang in there.
It's a left mid.
Second in the Golden Boot. I'm sorry. I think Aubameyang deserves to be in there.
Well,
who gets in?
Bruno Fernandes.
Nah, you cannot put someone who's been at the club for half. Nah, I'm sorry. We had Bruno in the first one. I'm not letting him.
I mean, you can.
I'm not letting him play for the second one. That's. I don't know. I cannot.
No.
I don't think I'd have Grealish in there, to be honest.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I think
I struggled with Grealish. It was between Grealish and Fernandes, but I couldn't allow myself to put Fernandes in. Next season, if he has the same season,
why not?
I don't like the fact
I think
he's played a few months. How many games has he actually played?
just because he signed in January doesn't mean automatically ruled out. I think. Well, how many goal contributions has he had? How many player of the months has he won?
He's had. Oh, that's debatable. I'm sorry. No, he's had a great spell at Man United. In the 7 months he's been here, and he only played like 4.
I think.
He
has been just really important to how we've played in the past few months. He's completely pushed that side forward.
He's played 14 games and has got 8 goals and 7 assists.
And he's won 2 of the last 3 Player of the Month awards.
He's had a great 14 league games at Man United.
He's won more Player of the Months than anyone else has this season.
There's David Silva not going over him.
That's maybe a push. Do you know what? I feel awful for saying this. Does Jordan Henderson go in over him?
No.
Yeah, no. Not over him, but I'd have him over Grealish in a 4 that
I might agree with that.
Fletch said. I'd have him over Grealish. Yeah.
Henderson doesn't get into team with this. Nah.
Yeah, he definitely does. He doesn't win Player of the Year, well, he shouldn't have, but he definitely gets into team of the season. I think he's just so undervalued by people who aren't Liverpool fans, and I just think you take. I was saying this the other day to someone else. You take 3 players out of that Liverpool side, and they will not win in the title. One of them's Van Dijk, one of them's Henderson, and one of them's Mane. Take those 2 out, and they ain't winning that title. Take any of those 2 out, I think they're struggling.
I will sacrifice Grealish for.
In the year that they won the league, I think you don't take out Liverpool's best ever captain from that team that year.
You like causing trouble, don't you?
No, yeah, I think he's definitely in there over Grealish.
Right,
I'd agree. I'd say Jordan
Henderson. If I can keep my Mane and Aubameyang on the wing.
Mane on the wing is fine.
I think who goes in over Aubameyang on that wing?
You just play a 4-3-3 and you put Bruno in.
No. I'm sorry. No.
He's got 15 goal contributions in 14 games.
Right, but so you say move. You say go to 4-3-3. When I tell you my strike force, then we have an issue.
You're playing Aubameyang at left mid. Do you not see the issue?
He's an attacking left winger who sometimes has to come and cover some defensive duties.
But then do you not have Sterling?
Considering he's got what, second in the Golden Boot?
He's played on the left this season, therefore it's justifiable to play him as a left midfielder / winger. It's justifiable.
I'd have my wingers, by the way, as Mane on the left and Adama Traore on the right.
Adama Traore I can kind of get behind. Whether he's had a better season than Aubameyang is a bit contentious.
I think he's played primarily.
We need to know the strike force. We need to know the strike force because I might have Aubameyang over one of the strikers.
I'm on edge here. Go on.
I have Ings and Vardy.
I kind of agree with it.
Vardy's Golden Boot, you cannot win the Golden Boot and not be in the team of the season. I don't think. Personally,
yeah, I'd agree.
You score the most.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah,
you're in the team of the season, and I think Ings finishing third behind Aubameyang. I think Ings has had a fantastic season playing as a striker. Aubameyang has had a fantastic season playing as a winger.
I know you're not going to budge on Bruno Fernandes for Aubameyang. So I want it to be clear to our many, many viewers that Bruno Fernandes would be my choice. But if the choice of the podcast is Aubameyang, I'll allow it.
If you allow Aubameyang, I'll swap Grealish for Bruno.
I feel like, putting personal rivalries aside, I feel like I'd be doing a disservice by saying that Bruno Fernandes deserves it more than Jordan Henderson. So I'm happy to go De Bruyne, Henderson, Aubameyang, Mane, Ings, Vardy. I'd be happy with that.
I can work with that. I'll budge on Henderson. I'm not his biggest fan, but I think he's had a decent season.
He's been very good. Mane has, of course, been incredible as always.
He's my player of the year, hands down.
Maybe, yeah. I think he's got to go down as one of the best forwards in at least recent Premier League history. Maybe not overall. Actually, no, yeah, why not? He should go down as one of the best in history, I think. By what he brings to that Liverpool team, the fact that he's in the Premier League.
Is he the best African player to play in the Premier League?
Who's the others? You've got Yaya.
You've got the Toure brothers, Drogba.
Do you know what? Maybe.
He's
got the Champions League and the Premier League.
He's quality, but you think of...
But
I'd say Toure probably still.
I think Drogba's...
Toure was crazy.
Drogba didn't score as many as everyone thinks he did, though.
I know he didn't, but I feared Drogba. As an Arsenal fan, I detested Didier Drogba because of the threat he had.
Yeah, and I guess the times he did score were like big moments.
I appreciate Mane, and he's a quality player. I don't fear him as much as I fear Drogba.
See, I disagree. I think I definitely scared of Drogba playing, and I think he's one of the best forwards of the league. But Sadio Mane, you go into any game with him, I think he scores.
But
I don't see a single team that he doesn't score against.
But Drogba spent a lot of the time on his own up front, really, let's be honest. The Chelsea team that was around him, it was a good team, but he was the main attacking driving force.
If you put prime Drogba...
Salah and Firmino in this Liverpool side as well, would Mane have as much if he had, let's say, Ings and Shaqiri next to him? Probably not.
If you put prime Drogba in this Liverpool team ahead of Firmino, I know it doesn't suit Klopp's style and Firmino's role, but they score bags full of goals every season.
Yeah. And again, at the same time, we say Drogba kind of was the focal point of that Chelsea side. That was still a Chelsea side with Frank Lampard.
I mean, I don't dispute the fact that it's he had a quality team and he scored quality goals, but I think they're both great players.
Maybe in 3 years' time we'd come back to this.
If Mane has another 2 or 3 years at the game he's at now, the level he's at now, then yeah, he probably is.
How old is he? Let's have a look.
Late 20s.
Mane is 28.
28.
So you've got to think he's not slowing down anytime soon, really.
Yeah, 2 or 3 more years.
3 years.
Probably.
Yeah.
And he's only 37 goals off Didier Drogba's Premier League tally. Or something like that. At least his first, obviously.
It's very interesting. Very. So, we sort of agreed a lot on the defence overall.
Yeah, it sort of wipes itself, doesn't it?
Midfield is a bit contentious. So, what's our final midfield?
Jordan Henderson.
Henderson De Bruyne in the middle.
De Bruyne, I want to stop on for a second. I think we need to note that he was absolutely just De Bruyne again. And he will go down he should go down as one of the best ever players to play in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I feel like this season as well, he wasn't as, for some reason, I feel like he wasn't as recognised. Maybe because that's what Liverpool were doing. And obviously everyone saw Man City sort of not as good as last year, but I think, De Bruyne wasn't as recognised,
Yeah. I mean, was it 20 assists, which equals Henry's record? And another 10 goals, I want to say. He's just, again, you hate playing him.
13 goals and 20 assists in 35 Premier League games.
You've got to think he has to be one of the best Premier League midfielders of all time.
Yeah.
He's got there.
Yeah, he is.
Sorry. Carry on. That fraud Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is in there, apparently. Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
I agree. I think I'm happy. This is my team, apart from Henderson for Grealish, but I'll accept that. I think I'm happy with this team. I'll put this in. Are we being harsh to the teams that finished above Arsenal? You think
that's the thing.
There's no Man United players, there's no Chelsea players, there's no Wolves players, there's no Spurs players, and there's no Leicester players.
There's one Leicester player.
Sorry.
I mean, I guess you could have Kane.
And Vardy. Kane's had a shocking season.
He's always about.
He's not hit, for him. He's not hit his heights.
Yeah.
There's Marcus Rashford or Anthony Martial still playing.
I'm very happy for this team.
Maybe Rashford states a claim. I wouldn't say Martial does.
Fernandes obviously should be in there, but okay. I mean, Chelsea, I don't think there's anyone that you look at and it's gone. They've been supernova this season. They have to go in over those players.
The only supernova the player they have is Kante, and he didn't play half the season because he was injured. Yeah. So
I think I'm happy with this team. I don't mind, but I just want to make sure that everyone else is a bit happy about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Wolves had anyone other than Troy either. So yeah, I'd probably say it's a fair side.
I think we have to move on to some awards now, as we did last time. My manager of the year is Chris Wilder, hands down. I'm sorry.
It's hard to disagree, isn't it?
It's him or Klopp, but I think Chris Wilder is the good choice.
I think I said this last time. I think what he's amounted to, and I've got to be careful how I say this because they will annoy any Liverpool fans. What he's amounted to is a bigger success than what Liverpool have, considering where they started the season. Liverpool finished.
Yeah.
Okay, hear me out. Liverpool finished a point behind City last year?
Yeah.
And they finished second the year before. So they've been up there. A lot of people had them down to win the league this year.
Yeah, whereas no one had Wilder and Sheffield United to do.
Came up from the Championship and were predicted by almost everyone to finish bottom. To come up from the Championship and finish 10th, I think they finished in the end, is a bigger achievement from going second to first.
Yeah, I could back it. I mean,
I know it's Liverpool's first Premier League title and first league title in 30 years, and to win the league's no mean feat, and it's very difficult, and they've blown it out of the water. It's like you won the Championship, you won the Champions League last year. I think Chris Wilder has done a better job as a coach this year. I don't know. It's interesting.
Maybe.
It causes a debate.
Do you think as well, Liverpool's kind of, had they not... I've been thinking about how good is this Liverpool side in comparison to the City side last year, because it's only 1 point up. But I think, had they gone unbeaten, obviously Klopp would be the hands-down choice. But the fact that they were so close, and I think it was only 3 games, 2 games? 3, I think. City, Arsenal and Watford. I think you have to say that Jurgen Klopp's got a very strong shout. I think it wasn't just going from second to first, it was going from second to one of the but I also agree with Chris Wilder getting it. So I'm happy with Chris Wilder.
I can back Chris Wilder, but they would be your top 2, wouldn't they? It would only be that.
I'd throw Klopp far ahead. Player of the year, I think we sort of covered Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
I heard Bruno Fernandes when you said that.
See, I'm gonna just hold out on Bruno. So I might give him a bit of credit in 30 seconds or so.
All right, maybe De Bruyne for Player of the Year. Jordan Henderson.
Not Henderson.
Nathan Ake.
I think Mane's the...
Nathan Ake. Maybe next season.
So I think Mane for me, if...
I'd say maybe Mane or De Bruyne.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's between those two.
Yeah.
I can back either of them.
Now, surprisingly, for the first time on this podcast, I'm going to praise a Man United player. Bruno Fernandes is signing of the season.
Easily.
Yeah.
No player has a bigger impact on a squad from the start of the season or from January.
He's completely changed Man United.
Yeah.
Completely changed.
I think it works with maybe players getting in form as well, but you've got to also think about how good a player Bruno has been on those Man United sides to get them in form. As in, like, when you look at before Christmas, it was Fred and Scott McTominay trying to assist a bored Anthony Martial. So now when you got Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, he's a magical player.
Man United are contenders again. They're a team to fear now. I think sort out that defence, and it's like I said when Chelsea got the Werner deal done and Ziyech, it looks likely they might get Havertz if they can sign a centre back or two as well. I think Chelsea and Man United are teams to fear again next season, and I've not.
I'd say Man United are closer.
I've not been scared of Man United for a long while. I've not been scared of Chelsea this season when they lost Hazard with that front four potentially of Pulisic, Havertz, Ziyech and Werner. It's terrifying. It's young.
But it's not Bruno, Sancho, Rashford, Martial, Scott
I think your midfield, if you keep Bruno Fernandes, if you keep Pogba and Bruno Fernandes together, if you add someone like Grealish or someone in there, is scary. And then you've got your front four. You can have any one of Rashford, Martial, Greenwood, and Sancho. Yeah. Again,
I mean, to tell you how excited I think
is. Yeah. I think you're both you and Chelsea a season maybe ahead of Arsenal.
I think we're a bit further than that, but I'd agree.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've all got new managers. You've had Solskjaer a bit longer. Chelsea have had 6 months more of Lampard. We won the cup. Arteta won the cup first, but we're not going to talk about that.
We just gave the opportunity. We fobbed off that semi-final just so you guys could have a go.
You got humiliated in that semi-final. No, but I mean, I think your progress, you're ahead of Arsenal in terms of. I think if we can build on this season next year, if we sign a couple of players where we need to improve. But I think we don't have the money to compete with Man United. You can go out and spend 100 silly money on Sancho, whereas we can't. Anyway, and finally, I think flop of the season. I've gone, and I know it's harsh. I know it's very harsh.
Right.
I've gone for Moise Kean.
Moise Kean's an interesting one. I think there was a lot of hype about how good he could be.
He was so good initially, and I think he was like starting games for Juve. He went to Everton for 30, 40 million, I think it was in the end.
Yeah.
And like, he just, I think, was it at Old Trafford he got subbed on and subbed off again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just things like this. He's not hit the heights. And I know Everton have had 2 or 3
It's sad
managers.
to see such a good talent.
I don't know. But I think for me, Moise Kean is for the season. I will not accept anyone saying Nicola Pepe, because
the fact that you know that was going to come, the fact that you know that someone was going to say
Man United fans loved this season to say, "Oh, Pepe, you spent 17 million on him." No. When you look at it, he's not actually been that bad. He hasn't justified 72 million, but he's been a very good player for us.
Very good player in a side that finished 8th for £70 million. if we spent £70 million on a player, and we finished 8th with how many goal contributions he had this year?
I'm going to look
Have
at
a look.
I think it was 6. I might be overestimating that.
Okay, so in 31 games, he's scored 3 less goals than Bruno Fernandes has since he came in. I don't even know how many assists it says here, but he's just not been good enough. £72 million. No, you can't. 5 goals. Appalling. How is that
That's harsh.
any better? Harsh is 70. I should be able to criticise a £72 million player.
No, you can criticise him, but to say he's been the flop of the season, no, I think that's...
Oh, no, I'd have him down there, personally.
I mean, I'd have him down there, but I mean, in 42 games this season, he's scored 8 goals and got 10 assists. Which, in 42 games and for 72 million, isn't what we expected. But when you look at Man United, you look at what you spent 8 million on Harry Maguire.
He could be down there.
And got what, the second best defence in the league, was it? The second least.
He's not had a good season.
Harry Maguire could be down there for flop of the season. It's been awful.
No, that's just silly.
If Pepe doesn't justify 72 million, Harry Maguire does nowhere near justify 80 million. Nowhere near.
Pepe's been... We're not going to be able to cover this in 5 minutes, but I just want to let you know that we've lost 8 games this season. That's the second least, of any side in the Premier League. With Harry Maguire, who hasn't been worth 80 million, but he's obviously not been a major flop. He's been given the captaincy. He's strengthened our defence bit by bit. This is a season where we've also had Brandon Williams come in and out for Luke Shaw. We've had no solid defensive midfielder except for Nemanja Matic, who looks like he's run 50 marathons before some of the matches near the end of the season. We've had David De Gea have one of his worst years recently. Harry Maguire hasn't been as big a flop as your £72 million winger, who you go, oh yeah, that winger from Arsenal, Bukayo Saka. Yeah, that's him. As in talent-wise, I mean. That's the only memorable winger that you guys have.
That's harsh.
That's
true. It's true. Bukayo Saka's been really exciting is what I'm trying to say. But Pepe obviously should be the first player you think of when you think of that Arsenal side, sorry.
Aubameyang.
Yes.
Easy.
But
we're going to disagree, but I think it's the hate on Pepe is very harsh. But that's for another time.
From a podcast point of view, we'll say Moise Kean can hopefully have a better season next year, and he'll go down as our flop of the year.
Yes. Anything else in the last 5 minutes we have left of this? Anything else we want to?
Yeah, we should probably give a quick mention to David Silva, who has been one of the best midfielders we've seen in the Premier League, and obviously it's coming to an end. I would say he's probably one of, if not the most important player Man City have had since the turn of the club, since Kompany and himself and Aguero came in. He's definitely in the top 5 most important, along with those two, Kompany and Aguero. And is he the best Spanish player? Is he the best Spanish midfielder to play in the Premier League? I'd say so.
He's better than Fabregas.
He's better than Fabregas. I'd say he probably is better than Arteta. Is he the best Spanish player? No, Torres weren't great.
Torres in his prime.
The Liverpool Torres
fell off so much that maybe Silva. Actually, Silva gets it, I think.
Yeah, Silva was so consistent. The thing is, the Liverpool Torres was great. The Chelsea Torres was a complete opposite.
Yeah.
So
you can't think of a single season where David Silva's been bad.
No.
I think.
I think he just deserves a little mention. But apart from that, no, it's been an interesting season. I was about to say, can't wait for the new season, but we don't have to wait that long. So
I was going to say, starting 5 minutes, crap.
Yeah.
It's been a very good season, very entertaining. Seeing kind of the rise and fall of so many clubs, and it's going to be an even better one next year, hopefully, when you look at the teams building and Jadon Sancho coming to the Premier League.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it.
So, yeah.
It's like a natural end for episode 9. We'll try and get back out more regularly. I think once a week, maybe a bit difficult at the moment, but fingers crossed, we'll look like we want to. We are not sure when we can be back in the studio in Derby.
Yep.
It's looking like that might be a little while longer. But hopefully we will get back to weekly episodes. And I know we did this 3 or 4 months ago, whenever we last together. We are very close to putting together a new style series thing. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yep. Hopefully you can get it happening.
Pardon? If we can get all of us dates working out, we will be putting together hopefully a new series of head-to-head quizzes against other podcasts, starting off from our uni course. But if anyone wants to challenge us in the podcast world, we will be happy.
Right, anyone who's not got much football knowledge, we need to
David on Steam.
get a few wins under our belt first.
Yeah, I mean, or if you're a group of friends with football knowledge and sort of, anyone who wants to take us on podcasts, we will take you on. But for episode 9, for the time being, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Like, share, comment, subscribe, anything. Show to your friends. Thank you, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
In a bit.